Hope is something we all rely on at some point in our lives. But how do we stay hopeful when we're faced with something as life-threatening as cancer? Well, singer and actress Renee Lawless is a woman who not only stayed hopeful in the wake of breast cancer, but has used her experience to spread hope to others. Welcome to Lifestyle Magazine.
This is Lifestyle Magazine with your host, Roy Ice, and key experts, Mike Tucker, Dr. Charmaine Long, Lionel LaMountain, and Marie Mitchell.
You might recognize today's guest from her current role as Catherine Cryer in Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots, or her multiple roles on Broadway. We're thrilled to have with us today the amazingly talented Renee Lawless. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
The coolest thing is we met a few months ago. And we met because when you walked by, we were at a broadcasters convention.
Right.
You walk by and you see on the little promo reel there, you see someone very familiar to
John
you.
Schneider, and I'm like, that's my show husband. Oh my goodness, you've got my husband on your camera.
I remember hearing you say that, and our producer Chauncey was like, what? And started the conversation, which led to this conversation. Which is going to help a lot of people. Many know you from Tyler Perry's The Have and the Have-Nots, but you've been doing quite a bit of work.
Yes.
What was it like working on The Haves and the Have-Nots?
It was very much a life-changing experience for me. I'd had predominantly a solid theater background that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
And I was very blessed. The whole audition process, how I even got the audition, is a great story for another time.
Yeah.
But just to say, you hate to use a cliche dream come true, because not only was I in a show that had such an incredible ensemble cast, and we were an ensemble. I can't emphasize that enough. But I had the privilege of learning so much from my amazing writer-director, Tyler Perry. I gained a wealth of knowledge in a very short amount of time. It was baptism by fire.
Yeah.
And I realized every day I had to show up, but the love and the family and the community that I gained in the 8 years on that show has forever changed me.
What are some of the things that you think that you learned through that experience?
I learned to trust.
Yeah?
We shoot very fast. Our show, we shoot 20 episodes in 2.5 weeks.
Oh, my word.
The average 1 hour drama takes usually 8 to 10 days to shoot. We were shooting 22 hours in 2.5 weeks.
You got to come prepared for that.
You got to show up, and
Yeah.
it's about 100. By the time we went off the air, we were at 150 pages a day.
Oh, my word.
And I would shoot, there was one day I shot 13 episodes in one day, all of my scenes from 13 episodes in one day. And a lot of times were one and done takes. It was like being on theater.
Yeah.
And unless it's an all skate, which I consider 4 or more people. Yeah. And even on all skates, he had so many cameras on set, we could get all the shots in one. If I had a phone conversation or a 2-person conversation, it was a one take done.
Wow.
And you had to trust your director that he got the take you wanted. You had to trust yourself that you could bring it. Yeah. And you had to trust your castmates that we were all on the same page. Tyler's an actor himself.
Yeah.
So he knew how to speak the language. He understood the frustrations and the stuff that the actors are going through. So he knew how to convey what he wanted and get exactly what he wanted.
Out of everything that you've done a ton of theatrical stuff, you've done on-screen stuff. What have been some of your favorite moments in your career?
Usually the bad ones. Usually the mistakes. I was telling somebody the other day, I was on Broadway with Beauty and the Beast, and I'd gone on for Mrs. Potts. And there's an apparatus that Mrs. Potts wears where the steam comes out of her arm. And I was doing Be Our Guest one day, and the whole apparatus just decided to fall out underneath me. Oh, no. So it looked like I was trailing Afterbirth, kind of sort of all around the stage. I had this whole tube system going on, and I'm dancing away, doing it, and things going on. And but there have been other moments. Every show has its own unique experiences. So it's hard for me to separate them. Yeah. But obviously my Broadway debut was a big moment. You know, memorable moments are sometimes things that the audience never sees.
Most of the time.
Right. It's the bloopers. It's the love. It's, for instance, a number of us had a pact every season because the last few seasons we never knew if we were going to get picked up again.
Yeah.
So we would all show up for everybody's last scene. And it'd be one thing to be on set and knowing that all of your castmates were all around the set with you to support you in your very last scene, whatever that last scene was, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
And that is something that has stood out and will continue to stand out in my mind.
Now, you're also a speaking coach.
Yes,
Talk to me about that. What do you do?
I am just that. I help women from homemakers to CEOs with their public speaking and presentational skills. I believe in diversification of income. Actors are not working. We'd like to wish we worked 365, but we don't.
And especially the last couple of years.
In the last couple of years, we had nothing coming in. So we have to find ways to have money coming in on those downtimes. People win Oscars on Saturday and they're in the unemployment line on Monday. Happens all the time. But I realized I was doing a lot of public speaking and motivational speaking to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but years ago in New York, when I was in theater, I worked a lot of events. And I was sick and tired of going to these conferences. And I'm the person working the back of the room, right?
Yeah.
But I would see these people, and I would be, especially if like doctors, they're pretty much telling you how to cure cancer. But everybody in the audience is worrying about their tea time.
Yeah. Or they're telling you the cure to cancer, but we're all falling asleep.
But we're all falling asleep because they don't know how to engage.
Right.
They don't know how to speak. I'm not going to write your speech for you. I'm just going to tell you how to present it better, And
They say that on the list of things that people are the most afraid of, speaking in public is higher ranking than dying. And
exactly, right, and it shouldn't be. I mean, what do we do every day of our life? We talk.
Yeah.
We talk every day.
Yeah.
We talk to people every day. Well, except now we're in the 20s where everybody likes to talk with their thumbs.
Yeah, exactly. And
But I still talk.
Exactly.
I don't talk with my thumbs very fast.
No.
I have fat thumbs, so they don't do well.
Me too. And I want to talk more with you, but we got to take a break. And when we come back, Renee refers to the year 2020 as the 3 C's, and we'll find out why when we're joined also by our wellness key specialist, Dr. Sharmini Long, after this short break. Don't go away. We're back with actress Renee Lawless, and also joining us is our wellness key specialist, Dr. Sharmini Long. Now, Renee, you've mentioned that the year 2020 you refer to as the 3 C's.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
November 2020, we found out my show of 8 years was canceled. C number 1.
Yeah.
My birthday that year, which was the end of November, I got COVID. C number 2. Now, it's okay. I was pretty much asymptomatic. It wasn't, for me, a horrible experience. Good. And then in 2021, the beginning of 21, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. C, cancer number 1. So it was the 3 C's. Cancel, COVID, cancer.
That's 3 whammies in a row.
Right.
How did that affect you immediately?
Well, the whole time I went through my cancer and all of its treatments, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, I always was like, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I didn't have breast cancer. And as long as I kept that up front, that doesn't mean I didn't slip ever so often, but as long as I kept that attitude, it made the whole process so much easier. Because there was always an end game at that point.
Yeah.
Sure.
There was never oh, you're going to die, or no. That was not even an option. That was not open to debate. I always knew I was going to be cancer-free, always.
So how were you diagnosed? Did you find something?
I had a mammogram. No, as a matter of fact, I would never have noticed it on a mammogram. It was that small. And I thought it was ductal carcinoma in situ, which it was, but I thought it was non-invasive. I just gave y'all a little medical lesson. Dr. Long can help you with that. And the only tears that were really shed after that was I really thought I was going to lose my hair. Isn't that weird? People are all worried about their boobs or the cancer or dying, and I'm like, I don't want to lose my hair. The whole thing was about my hair. Awesome. Even when the doctors came in and I had a full head of hair, they were like, is that really yours? And I went, mm-hmm. And they're like, oh. And I was like, oh, no, oh. Yeah. So I took steps to not to have that happen.
Wow. So what steps were those?
I wore cold caps. These are flat caps that are held in dry ice at negative 32 degrees centigrade, and in 8 hours on treatment day, there's a whole prep underneath. You interchange these every 25 minutes for
Oh,
8
wow.
hours. It starts an hour and a half before the actual chemo drug goes in, and then it goes through the whole time you're going through chemo and then several hours after. And so my best friend, Leslie Marr, she drove up from 3 hours away. She lived in San Diego, and she took me to all my treatments, and she spent 8 hours prepping and changing every cap for 8 hours.
It's so great to have support through a time like this. Did you have any other support?
Oh, yes. I have an amazing life group through my church. We would just call it a Bible study group.
Yeah.
And these ladies, which I had known for about a year or so prior, rallied together. I got very sick in the middle of treatment, had to go in the hospital. And my friends kind of, because I live alone, and they kind of threw it down and said, you are not going to be alone anymore. And my life group ladies took a schedule, and for 5 days after every treatment, they came to my home.
Isn't
And they
that
fed me,
wonderful?
they cooked for me. And then even after my surgery, they made a schedule. And for 1 month, they lived with me. Different women lived with me. They cooked. I couldn't get out of bed on my own. I couldn't do anything on my own. I had drainage tubes, all of that. They saw my medicine. They did the dirty work. Some people wouldn't even want to do some of that dirty work. They got up close and personal with me very quickly,
Yes,
very quickly.
I'd say.
And but I'm forever grateful. I tell people my life group saved my life.
Yes.
So loved by so many people to come and
Well,
do that.
thank you. And by me wearing cold caps and saving my hair, yes, I'm going to admit part of it was vanity. It's just the way it is. But also, I was now able to control the narrative. Nobody that came into contact with me, unless I chose to tell them, knew that I was going through cancer. No one. And so I went public with it right after my last treatment. And my phone blew up, everything. What? But this way I was able to control this on my own. Sadly, the public, they didn't treat me any different because they didn't know. But
Yeah. Why do you think that you chose to go through this without making it public?
I didn't know how it would be perceived by my industry. I didn't know if A, they would be afraid to cast me.
Yeah.
B, how it would affect, because all actors were bonded when we get on shows, how it would affect insurance. Did they think I would get sick if they did cast me?
Yeah.
I didn't want it to adversely affect that perception. Now, the sad part about it is I have a handicap placard. And I'm walking around with a full head of hair, even though it's falling out at my house every single day, because I lost about 40%.
Yeah.
And you pull in a handicapped space and they've got a placard, and people see you get out of a car and they're thinking, well, she's walking, talking, and breathing just fine. But they don't know how much energy it took me to get from that handicapped spot to that grocery store door or whatever door I was walking in. Because my energy tanked
Yeah.
immediately. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Chemo is horrific.
It is. Yeah.
It is horrific. It is horrific.
What
You
you
never
might
know
be
what the
going
person
through.
sitting next to you is going through. Just because they're not bald,
Yeah.
just because you don't know what they're going through. And
Absolutely.
we need to be more patient with that. I'm sorry, good job.
No, we do. And I don't want to
I
cut you off.
ramble, and I know you've got someone going, I'm sorry, but we have to do this. Okay.
And I don't want to cut
Okay,
you
so-
off because this is a beautiful story and,
Thank you.
and one that's going to help so many people who view this program. But we do have to take a break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we'll learn how Renee's experience with cancer has changed how and what she does. So stay tuned.
Breast cancer can sometimes result in the surgical removal of the breast. When this happens, some women will grieve for the loss of the breast. It's not just the part of their body that they're grieving for. It's what that part of the body represents to them, being feminine, being a woman, being a mother. All of that may need to be grieved. That's a big task. It may be bigger than you can handle by yourself. Seek help. Get a support group. Get a counselor. But do the work because you will benefit in the long run.
We're back with Renee Lawless. Now, apart from being an incredibly talented singer and actress, Renee is also a motivational speaker and a philanthropist, and you've been busy doing so many things to help other people. But I can only imagine that going through cancer changed your perspectives on a lot of things and made you more passionate about things. How has this changed you?
Well, something that I'm very passionate about telling people, yes, especially women, like I myself had done a mastectomy. A lot of women put that on the back burner. I cannot emphasize enough for annual testing. But by doing that and getting diagnosed, I also learned that I, like most women in America, were led to believe that 80% or more of breast cancer patients have a family history. That is not the truth. The truth is actually only 14% of women that have breast cancer have a family history. So a lot of women think, oh, it's not in my family, it's no big deal. Trust me, I was just as shocked as the next person that this was the cancer that I was diagnosed with, or any cancer for that matter. So I'm very passionate about getting that message about proper detection and treatment.
I love that. Dr. Long, as a physician, what would you suggest to our viewers to understand about certain types of checkups or how frequent that they need to do these checkups?
Absolutely. It's so important to go and get your surveillance done. That
Absolutely.
annual mammogram after age 40, in particular, younger, if you have a strong family history in a young age.
And the sonogram, or the sonogram that follows the mammogram as well.
Yeah, so if you typically get a surveillance mammogram done. If you have something that's found on that, then they'll do an ultrasound, a diagnostic
Right.
ultrasound, and a diagnostic mammogram. But if you have been doing self-checks, which are also really important, because sometimes you pick it up yourself and it's not seen on mammogram, then you should notify the mammography studio so that they know to go straight to a diagnostic mammogram and ultrasound.
Absolutely.
And it's so important to get that done routinely, because when you miss a year, inevitably it seems like that's when something has been picked up.
Exactly.
And with COVID, a lot of people put off their surveillance
Mainly
for a
'cause we
lot of
couldn't get to
reasons.
a
You couldn't
doctor.
get into it.
You couldn't get to the
And
hospital.
so people are seeing later stage cancer now being diagnosed that really could have been picked up. Sometimes women find something. I've seen this happen too, where women will find something on a self-breast exam but then are scared and don't want to say something. And really the key is go and get it checked out as soon as possible.
Soon as possible.
Because the treatment can be so much less than what you might have to go through.
Sadly, I had a number of friends to call
Yeah.
that had all experienced things.
That's
There were
true.
so many that had gone through it.
Now, despite having all these people, plus now yourself, you're an extremely hopeful person. Just your approach. How do you remain hopeful through cancer?
Well, first of all, I have a very strong faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and God and my Lord and Savior, and I knew I was protected. I also am a firm believer. We all have a death date. We all know we're going to die sometime.
Yeah.
We don't know the day. That's when the Lord decides to call us home to glory. Some people die in a car accident, bam. Some people live to a tender old age and die in their sleep, bam. Some people have a sickness and die. The death date never changes.
Yeah.
The road to get to the death date changes. So why keep a bad attitude? Why spend all my time? Did I say that I didn't go to bed sometimes crying? Absolutely. Crying because I was lonely, crying because I wish I was working, crying because I was just having a poor, pitiful pearl moment, whatever that is, you know? But it wasn't about over the cancer. Cancer doesn't make you sick. The treatment does.
Yeah.
Me not being able to eat anything but lemon pasta and popsicles for a couple of months wasn't necessarily a walk in the park.
Yeah.
But when they told me I was cancer-free, I went, yeah, I know. Why?
Yeah.
You're going through hell. And there's a statement that Winston Churchill used to say, when you're going through hell, keep on going. You might get through it before the devil even knows you're there.
Yeah.
And there's a really good country song, if you listen to country music, it talks about that. But you just have to keep persevering because there is that light at the end of the tunnel. It's either going to be a light to break free or it's going to be a light to glory. At the end of the day, it's still a light.
I love that.
Thank you. I just made that up.
Hey,
I just come,
Look at that on the fly.
I just made that up.
see what happens when you're on Lifestyle Magazine?
Magazine. With Lifestyle Magazine. Great.
Well, you are leaving a legacy, but
you.
as you look at your life and how you have the ability now to influence so many people, what do you want your life to leave as a legacy for so many?
I just want people to really remember that I was hopeful, a risk taker, and for the most part had a positive attitude on life and everything that there is.
Yeah.
But also, and it's something I have to work on, giving people grace.
Yeah.
We all stumble and fall. We never know what the next person's going through. And because of this experience, I spend a little more time worrying about the dash, that dash between the birth date and the death date on a tombstone. The legacy will be, tomorrow is another day. It's my Scarlett O'Hara, thing. That doesn't mean we all don't have down days. One of the signature speeches as speakers when I do my motivational speaking is being overwhelmed to overjoyed. That doesn't mean we're not going to get overwhelmed, but it's how to get out of it and find the true joy.
And each day is a gift, especially
Each
when
day
you're
is a
going through
gift,
cancer.
and tomorrow is never promised.
Yeah.
So why wallow in, but what if I'm gone?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, people get in car accidents even in the middle of cancer treatments.
So make today count.
Make today count. Love somebody else. Give them grace when they cut you off on the 405. Just go. Even though you want to chase them down and stuff, you just blow kisses.
That's right. I love that, and what a legacy you are leaving. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you for having
a
me. I've
part.
enjoyed it so much.
Oh, we've enjoyed having you. We have to take a break right now, but don't go away. When we come back, I have a few final thoughts for you. Stay tuned. One of the greatest challenges of life is staying hopeful while you're hurting. Pain is a tyrant who demands all of your attention all of the time. So how can you still hear the whisper of hope while your pain is screaming? One of the best ways is to read stories or talk to people who have survived or overcome the source of your pain. See how they won their battle. Be inspired that it can happen for you too, and take similar steps that they took to alleviate their pain. In this way, you are adding volume to the voice of your hopes, and ultimately these hopes will drown out and then silence the pain that is distracting you from your best life.
For more meaningful life tips and an opportunity to view this show and all other episodes, visit our website at lifestyle.org.